Welcome to the regular meeting of the Cape Coral Youth Council. Today's date is January 13th, 2023. The meeting will now come to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Yes, Chair. Before I call the roll, I would like to announce that members Polanco and Zadowitz have requested to be excused, and I will mark them so. Anchetta?
Here.
Arvalo?
Here.
Bella?
Here.
Bernal?
Here.
Brucker?
Present.
Beichthaler?
Here.
Little?
Here.
Negron?
Here.
Ordonez? Osinski?
Here.
Reamer?
Here.
Rodriguez? 10 present, 2 excused, 2 absent.
Thank you. Next is item 4, approval of the agenda and changes to the agenda. Are there any changes to the agenda? Do we have a motion to adopt the agenda for the January 13th, 2023 meeting as presented? Vice Chair Little?
I motion to adopt the January 13th, 2023 agenda as presented.
Can I have a second? Member Anchetta?
I second that motion.
Vice Chair Little made the motion, Member Anchetta made the second to approve the agenda for the January 13th meeting as presented. Any discussion? Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Anchetta?
Aye.
Arvalo?
Aye.
Bella?
Aye.
Bernal?
Aye.
Brucker?
Aye.
Beichthaler?
Aye.
Little?
Aye.
Negron?
Aye.
Osinski?
Aye.
Reamer?
Aye.
All ayes, motion carried.
Thank you. Next is item 5A, approval of the minutes. The meeting minutes for December 9th, 2022 were attached to your backup material and emailed to the council for review and consideration prior to the meeting. Can I have a motion to approve the regular meeting minutes from December 9th, 2022 as presented? Vice Chair Little?
I motion to approve the regular meeting minutes from December 9th, 2022 as presented.
Can I have a second? Member Feichthaler?
I second that motion.
Vice Chair Little made the motion. Member Feichthaler made the second to approve the regular meeting minutes from December 9th, 2022 as presented. Any discussion? We will now take a voice poll vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Next on the agenda is item 6, recognitions and achievements. There are none to report at this time, so we will move on to the next item on the agenda, item 7, advisor presentation. I will now turn the floor over, next is 7A, upcoming council report, Advisor Mazurkiewicz. So I will now turn the floor over to Advisor Mazurkiewicz for any further updates.
Thank you, Madam Chair. One issue that I think is going to be pretty interesting, as a result of Hurricane Ian, the yacht clubs was already scheduled to get redone, but the hurricane damaged a lot of things that were going to remain the same. It looks like now the City Council will be contemplating a clean slate and redoing it from scratch, which could mean rebuilding the yacht club facility, the original teen center, which is now the Tony Rotino Senior Center. We really don't need that on that very valuable property. The tennis courts and volleyball courts could move because the new racket center at Lake Kennedy just got approved last Wednesday with additional tennis courts and pickleball. So at an upcoming planning retreat, the yacht club will be probably the single biggest issue they'll be looking at. It's unfortunately it's off-site. It's a strategic visioning session, and they will be workshopping off-site and Palmetto Pines Country Club on the
26th and 27th.
26th, 27th of January, but it may be something of interest. That's really one of the last big pieces of historic buildings we have in Cape Coral, and how they are treated and the replica built back is going to be pretty interesting. So something to think about, and if you will probably be in school, of course, so it's going to be tough, but watch what's going to happen as an outcome of that. It'll come back to a city council meeting for a decision. This will be a planning session, not a decision section. But something should be interesting. That's it, Madam Chair.
And also, I had told a couple of you, the outstanding work that you all did on the video that went to Florida League of Cities deserves to be seen. And we are going to put it on the agenda for one of the city council meetings so that the public and the other city council members can see your great work. So again, congratulations on that. I did ask, go ahead.
In the quarterly report, I have the video in there, so if you
Oh, you
want
did?
to
Oh, okay.
if we can just do that all in one go.
Perfect. And the second thing is I did ask for council's permission to revisit the youth council ordinance and move forward with what I had mentioned to you earlier about getting you out of being an advisory council, which ties you to Sunshine, and in line with the other councils throughout the state, which will allow more freedom of discussion and conversation among you. You'll still be able to have your meetings, you'll still be able to make recommendations. I guess the only big change will be one of our communications people will have to take minutes from the meeting should it get approved. So we'll lose some of those resources, but I think in the end it will be better for you to be more in an ambassador or leadership role other than as an advisor. You're the only one in the state that is tied to Sunshine right now, so it's not fair to you.
So will they no longer be able to make recommendations
Yeah.
to city council?
No, they can everything pretty much stays
Well,
the
how can they
same
make recommendations to city council and be out of the Sunshine?
because it won't be a formal process. They can choose to make recommendations or they don't have to do anything. They can continue with similar things. So it's nitpicky, I know, but the way it's designed now, it just puts you in not a very good position. So we'll move forward on that. I'll let you know when it's going to come before council for a vote, probably in the next couple of months. But I think overall it'll be better for you. Based on what I've seen from the other councils, Tampa, how they do things, you're able to work with a little more autonomy, I think, than what you are now. Okay?
Thank you.
I'm going to debate you on that.
Okay.
All right. Moving on, we have item 8, citizens input. This consists of input of citizens on matters concerning city government. 3 minutes per individual. Council will listen to all speakers and respond after all speakers have made their presentation. I will now read the Pledge of Civility. We will be respectful of each other even when we disagree. We will direct all comments to the issues. We will avoid personal attacks. Citizens input is now open. Members of the public, please come forward to the podium. Please state your name clearly for the record.
My name is Christian Widdish. 15 at Columbine, 17 at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas, 21 at Uvalde, and 26 at Sandy Hook. How long shall we stand idle while gun violence becomes, rather than an atrocious rarity, almost part of everyday curriculum? Why have we, seemingly without thought, have had to practice how to duck and cover from bullets in our classrooms? Why must we give up the safe and secure feeling in which we should possess when we walk the halls of our schools and institutions for the feelings of fear, paranoia, and the understanding of the thought that there is no longer a guarantee that we will walk out of the same doors that we walk through at the beginning of our mornings? These are the questions that I have, and many others have, pondered as we act as though lockdown drills and the phrase "lock lights out of sight" are somehow acceptable. Gun violence has plagued our state and nation for many a year, most notably, though, in the past 2 decades. I bring this issue before you all, the honorable members of the Cape Coral Youth Council, not to bring blame, to complain, or to insert meaningless words on the record, but to encourage you to pursue a notable grassroots solution. in this area. Advocacy, what is it? Defined, it is the public representation of an issue or debate by an individual or a group of people, but more importantly, it is the passionate and impressionable work of motivated individuals to bring about change and awareness in their communities. This is the course of action that this organization, let alone the greater communities of Cape Coral and Southwest Florida, should take. Although a youth organization, we all have the ability to do something as small as publishing a poster on our social media accounts or as large as individually participating in demonstrations against gun violence. But no matter what, we must do something. If we are to be effective representatives of the people, let alone the youth, of our community, then advocating against this heinous crime is just a small step in a collection of larger steps towards ending gun violence against children, against me, against you.
Thank you. Are there any other members of the public wishing to speak? Seeing none, citizens' input is now closed. Is there any discussion from council regarding the input given? Yes, Vice Chair Little.
I mean, sorry. Yeah, I think this is a very, very serious subject. I don't know about if your school just had one. Our school just had a lockdown drill today. And yeah, it's very scary. I know that's maybe a light word to put on it, but this is a very serious situation, and I agree that something should be done about it.
Mr. Brucker, or Member Brucker?
First off, that was very moving and very well written. Second of all, yes, this is a very, very, very pervasive and prevalent problem in our country and especially our state. And we should not have to put our backpacks over our chests to remain safe when we are just trying to learn and start our lives and better this world from the evil and heinous crimes like you just said. And I agree with you, and I think the majority of the council does as well.
Yes, Member Negro.
I just wanted to add on, what could we do about that? Maybe a demonstration or something? Oh, not demonstration, sorry. But you understand what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, definitely. I think that's definitely an important question. We could think about if we wanted to organize some form of, demonstration, if there was maybe a protest about gun violence, or if there was some form of, I'm sorry, I'm blanking, some form of protest, some form of, we could put out informational pamphlets, brochures, materials that on our social media. We would have to decide what our goal is in mind before we decide what we're actually doing. You know, if our goal is to inform, then there are certain things that we want to do. If our goal is to get some type of legislation passed, then that's a different course of action. I think that, it just depends on what our actual end goal is in mind. If our goal is just to make children feel safer in schools, then maybe as leaders, we can do something else in our classrooms. I know that right now, simply in student government, we're working on a health and safety project, and we actually had a teacher come up with a safety, I don't know what to call it, a little doohickey, and it's made out of fire hose, and you can put it on the elbow of a door, and you can't break down a door in a lockdown situation, and it helps students feel more secure if there ever was to be an emergency like that. So it might feel students feel more secure on campus if we wanted to maybe fundraise or something for materials to be put in classrooms like that. But it just depends on what our end goal was to be in mind for that. Yes, Member Osinski.
I really like the idea of taking action about gun violence in schools, especially coming up towards the end of our school year. But I don't necessarily agree as much as a protest, as much as I would rather we have the connections already that a lot of times protesters don't. When we're in a position where I don't think a protest would be as meaningful as something where we try to pass either city legislation or effective movement in the charter school authority or the school board, maybe coming up with a plan of actual action or legislation we want to do and trying to push that towards the policymakers in our community I feel like would much rather appeal to our position and to having a more peaceful solution on our part as well.
I agree. Yes, Member Negron.
Adding on to what Member Osinski said, maybe we could like put something in the agenda for like a future meeting to like discuss something we can do as far as like pushing to get something legislated.
Definitely. So I can add that to my list for the end of the meeting, just so I know to suggest that as a next meeting agenda topic. I'm not sure, is there something that you would like to call it as far as just like school violence continued discussion, or I don't know. Is there anything, yeah. Yes, Vice Chair Little.
I do want to say, I don't know if we need to go down the awareness route, because we all know it's a really big issue. Sometimes we put it in the back of our minds, but everyone generally knows what school shootings are and how damaging they can be. So I think we should go down that, perhaps that legal route or fundraising route to get stuff like how you were describing the fire hose, because our school doesn't have that, I know. So something like that.
I think that's a cool way to get that. And I mean, fundraising, it doesn't, maybe, I know that, you know, getting the donation is like a dollar sign is difficult sometimes. But even just advocating, we didn't in our student government get a dollar sign, like a number. It was just honestly going door to door. We had like connections as far as going down to the fire station and getting a fire hose. It was literally that donation. So that was really helpful. And it's like an 8-inch chunk, so it's not even that long. And it's, when you cut it into pieces, it's actually really helpful. Like 2 fire hoses complete will actually supply all of our teachers' rooms in the school. So that, yes, and then we'll work on the office and stuff like that is what it's going to look like to be complete. I know some rooms have double doors, so it's going to be give or take, but it looks like it'll be good for all the teachers in the school. But, so, yeah. So we could do something like that, but I know that fundraising sounds like just one more thing that we have to fundraise for and try to get sponsorships and donations, but I actually think that it could be something attainable. Yes, Member Brucker.
Could we theoretically link a fundraiser to the gala and have, like, do that through the gala? Could that be possible, you think? Matt?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the world is our oyster. I know the gala, we've always done it for blessings in a backpack, and maybe piling things on might be difficult and might distract from our goal. I do appreciate that, though. I think it would be fun if we, you know, I get what you're going for, but it might, you know, detract from maybe how much we could get for blessings in a backpack if we were also asking for things for this. But I appreciate what you're going for. Yes, Member Osinski?
I think we could do fundraising. It's not an option that's completely unattainable.
Yeah.
But I think if we tried to see what funding our schools currently get for safety in place and look at that funding and see what it's being used for and see if there is wiggle room to supply these in schools as a solution and present that as legislation, I feel like would be a much easier route if there was already funding for our school's budget for safety. And if there's not funding, I feel like that would be something that we could really take an initiative for and get additional funding from the city to ensure, or the school board for school safety, and getting that action made from its original like root rather than just having it be another fundraising project.
Definitely. Yeah, Member Raymer?
I agree with Member Osinski, and I think the most affirmative action that we can take is when events like these do happen, like he mentioned, we are able to post, you know, awareness about it. For maybe mental health, going back to what we were trying to do with mental health, sticking to that and kind of leading into stopping gun violence in whole.
So would you suggest maybe we could post materials about mental health and not in particular pertaining to gun violence, statistics about gun violence, but maybe mental health resources and things like that? So maybe stop it at its source, and, you know, because we were talking about how that kind of is where we get led down that rabbit hole there. Okay, that sounds good. And I know it was suggested that we talk about this at another meeting and have like a full agenda topic about that. So if people want to go back and maybe think about it, and if they, you know, have any other ideas, we can bring it to the council at our next meeting. That sounds good.
Chair, I think what this has told me again is you all got some things to say about this, about what Christian talked about the last time. And I know in school right now, because of certain legislation that's been passed, it can kind of get tough to do that, to speak, to let people hear what you're thinking about. So I really think you're on to something from your perspective on what you can think about. And as you put this on the agenda the next time, you know, what we didn't get accomplished in November because of the storm was the workshop. And, you know, we had talked about bringing other students in here, other student governments, to talk about issues that were really important to you. Now, several of you in the last several months have been through a lockdown, including the one at North where kids, even though it was a false alarm, kids got hurt because of the bang and people running out and climbing fences and things that a lot of people aren't aware of. You all were scared. You know, Mariner, you know, same thing. So, you know, you're at a critical time where awareness is important and you need to be heard. So, you know, you all are onto something here about speaking, giving voice to something that means a lot to you.
Definitely. So, yeah. So moving forward, we'll have to talk about scheduling another workshop and making sure that we have the opportunity to do something about that. But the next item on the agenda is item 9, recommendations to council. 9A, quarterly report presentation, continued discussion. So at the last meeting, the council voted to adopt January 25th as the date for the upcoming council report. Vice Chair Little volunteered to create the Google Slides for the report. All council members were to submit any pictures that they had or information to Vice Chair Little by January 4th. Vice Chair Little, have you received everything that you needed for the presentation, and are there any corrections or anything that need to be made to the presentation?
Yes, it's finished and it was turned in. I don't know if there are recommendations to me, but
I know we have, at this time, Christian, do you mind going through and helping us do the slideshow so that we can review it should be in materials, but we can go through and look at the presentation.
small question. In the presentation, if it's imported as a PDF, because I know you downloaded it like as that, would that affect the video that is inside the presentation? It's like an embedded video that you would click on. And if it's a PDF, I don't think that would work anymore. So we might just have to look that up separately, like after the presentation, and pull it up. That might be something just keep in mind.
I mean, it's still, I mean, what, did you didn't add music or anything to it, right? So it's just a regular slideshow presentation from a PowerPoint, right?
Yeah, and then there's an embedded video when you click on
Oh,
it.
I was not aware that you embedded a video in it.
Yeah, it was in there.
Okay.
You can run that on this laptop. I've seen other people do it. Just make sure that when it's loaded up, that you try it ahead of time and make sure
Right.
there's not too much downtime in between it loading. Because it won't load until you actually click on it.
Yeah, we could just pull it up on YouTube, like after the presentation, make it
You
simple.
can do it either way.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's on there, right, Bella? Oh, okay.
Okay, so it does work.
Oh, yeah.
Well, somebody
wasn't worried
reviewed
about- I wasn't
somebody
worried about
reviewed
it
her
working.
material before the meeting. Well done, well done.
Yeah, I wasn't worried about it working. I was worried about it working on this laptop. So we just got to try it on this laptop.
Okay, so, keep going. I like the theme, like the background, it's cute. Okay. Thank you, Christian.
Just tell me.
Yeah, you're good. Thank you. You can move to the next one. Yay, member Pike Dollar. Happy to have you. Spring Gala. I wanted to talk to this damn lady all day long. I'm gonna go up. Very nice. When you put the picture and everything, that's nice. I like the design.
Does the GoFundMe link?
I figured it could just be there.
love this project. I think it's so cute.
Should I play the video?
At this time, does the council want to watch the video? I don't think we're watching it again, but I thank you to those who worked on the video. Good job. Very good job. Very nice. I love it. I love the theme. I love the question. I think it's great. Thank you.
So are there any like recommendations for things to change?
I don't think so. I think it looks good.
I just have a question. On the previous slide, it's probably an obvious answer, but it had the acronym SWOT. Is what?
Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. It's like the SWOT analysis we're supposed to, yeah.
Okay, all right. Just want to
I
make
mean,
sure.
we could say out loud like the full thing, but
Anything else? Thank you, Christian. Any other things? I think it looks really nice. I think it's well put together. Thank you so much, Waste Your Little, for doing that for us. Is there any other discussion? And then, awesome. And then, Ms. Dixon, do we need to have a motion to approve the presentation, or is it okay just as it is? Okay. So at this time, can I have a motion to approve the presentation as presented? Member Osinski?
I motion to approve the quarterly report presentation as presented for the January 25th quarterly presentation.
Can I have a second? Member Bella?
Second that motion.
All right, Member Osinski made the motion, Member Bella made the second to approve the quarterly report presentation for the January 25th, 2023 City Council meeting as presented. Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Inchetta,
Aye.
Aravalo,
Aye.
Bella,
Aye.
Bernal,
Aye.
Brucker,
Aye.
Feichthaler,
Aye.
Little,
I,
Negron,
Aye.
Ordonez,
Aye.
Osinski,
Aye.
Reamer.
Aye.
All ayes, motion carried.
Thank you. So that date is quickly approaching. I would love to see everyone there, and I think that it's always great to have an opportunity to use our voices and kind of make contact with the council, because that's kind of our job. And so as many people to be there as possible would be great to kind of present that to the council. So yeah, be there January 25th, all right? Next, is there any other discussion on that? Next is business item 10A, 2022 FLC Youth Council Video Competition Continued Discussion. The FLC video submission deadline was December 16th, so thank you to Member Osinski and Member Bella for completing the written description and video editing. At our last meeting, council members, we were able to view the video and make suggestions as well as comments on it before submission, and all the edits were made, and I know that Councilmember Hayden said that it was just really well done, and he was all excited about it, so I know that I was excited about it. So I think it was great, so thank you guys so much. Are there any other additional comments on this? Do we happen to know, I don't want to put you on the spot or anything, do we happen to know when we'll hear anything back about that?
I'm not certain. Ms. Gerglin may have more of a.
Okay, that's okay.
Yeah.
I don't mean to just like
That's
jump
okay.
out of bed.
That's no worries.
But I'm super excited about that. I think it was, I think that was well done. So good job, guys. Any other discussion on that? Moving along, we have item 10B, Spring Gala continued discussion. All right, so previously, council members voted to adopt the Lake Kennedy Center as the venue for the 2023 Spring Gala. We also chose 2 meatballs in a kitchen as our caterer. Member Osinski, at the last meeting, you offered to reach out to your school's culinary teacher to see if they were able to participate. Do you happen to have anything to report to us about that? Yes.
I mentioned to her briefly before winter break, and she said that she would look into it. I haven't brought it up to her since, but I can talk to her again and see if she wants to start preparations for that and get back to you guys as soon as possible.
That would be awesome. Thank you so much. And then additionally, Member Bella volunteered to contact a photo booth and DJ to receive an estimate for the service of working the gala. Do you have anything to share with us? Sorry.
Yes, so I did reach out to the regular DJ that we use, and unfortunately he's busy that day, but I did get another DJ Jeff, I believe his name is,
And we also got a sponsorship from LCEC to cover that, but I do not have a photo booth yet. But I'm starting to look into companies. And the DJ also said he might have some recommendations, I believe. But, so I'm looking into that.
Thank you. I can go back into my school. We have a couple contacts for our like homecoming and prom, and I'll see. I know we had our contact here, so I wasn't sure if we would need one, but so I'll see if the one that we have might be available or if we need anyone.
So-
if I can just get their contact or anything.
For the photo booth that we usually use here is also unavailable. So that's why I was looking at other ones.
Okay.
But yeah.
Moving on, Member Arvelo volunteered to contact the Lake Kennedy Center staff regarding wall decorations. Is there any additional information you have to share with us?
I bought sticky tack, but because FEMA is in Lake Kennedy Center, I'm not able to just go and put the tack on there. But when we do go in February, because we will have a time to actually go to Lake Kennedy Center and look at what it looks like, I can bring it and ask Jody.
Awesome, thank you. All council members were requested to go into the community and find sponsorships for the gala. Do any members have any sponsorships to report? And is there any membership discussion on that? Member Arvelo?
I went out and got 6 sponsors. I raised $1,300, and I can go down of what the sponsors I got, but I went out and I got I think it's 4 local businesses, and I have the thing right here. A realty company donated $500. Mix Mobile, which is also a DJ, they actually, before I knew what we were going to do with the DJ that they canceled, they actually asked if I wanted to do $100, a monetary donation, or provide their services, but I already accepted the $100 before then, so that was kind of like a little thing that happened. But and then this boutique I went out to, they are a very new store, so they're called Just Lovely Boutique. They are actually giving us a raffle prize donation instead. They do a lot of handbags and stuff, and they just have a lot of cool clothes there. So they're going to make a whole basket and then donate it to us. They might do something like Versace or Gucci or something in there. Yeah, she told me that, so I thought it was cool. And then Brand One Inc., they work with the city. I reached out to them, and they're giving us a $100 donation, but also they're going to be providing every sponsor that does $250 or more, they're going to sponsor, they're going to give them a banner of their logo. So it's kind of cool that they're donating not only $100, but also their services. Also, I reached out to Mr. Mazakowicz, and he is donating $500 to us, which is really good. And then also I reached out to Miss Gloria Tate and at her realty company, and she's either going to give us $100 or up to $200 in a donation. So she had her home messed up during the hurricane, so she said she's gonna really try and give us all that she can, but it is a hard process for her. So I did tell her on behalf anything is fine. She didn't even have to give us a donation, but it's great that she actually did. So I reached out to all of the sponsors that sponsored us last year, but I haven't gotten anything back yet, but I hope so soon.
Thank you. Is there any other discussion? We do have a long weekend, so that would be a great opportunity to, find more people, to take time to write emails, call people, take to the streets and meet people and ask for donations. So yeah, be sure to continue work on that. Seeing no more discussion, we can move on to item 10C.
Chair,
Yes.
If I may interject, obviously, once again, with only meeting once a month, there's certain things that, we need to actually talk about at this meeting. Raffle baskets. Me personally, I thought the school raffle baskets last year were a big hit. Have we chosen anyone maybe to step up to the plate and do that this year? Another thing we need to talk about is, I know decorations are coming up, but if those are not the decorations that are chosen, then somebody, once again, needs to step up and decide what kind of decorations, because once again, we're gonna have to start ordering those. We have to think what else from the gala, because basically this is gonna be probably one of the last meetings that we have to decide so that we can work on it for the next month.
Okay.
And we have a lot of unfinalized things right now.
So starting with the raffle baskets, as I remember, we did one from each school, and I think that those were successful too. I think that people really liked them, and it was fun, and we kind of rooted for our own schools, and it made it like kind of a competitive atmosphere. So would you recommend that we do one person from each school responsible, or
So-
we could pair up and work on it?
What I did basically last year is I formatted one email and I reached out to the principal and the assistant principal. And I got additive responses back in timely manners because they are going to be the one to direct it as to who should be helping them out. So whether one person wants to do it or me personally, I think one person should do it. It's just very, very hard when you have multiple members trying to do the same thing and you're not sure who's got it. If one person just focuses on the raffle baskets from the high schools, I think it was a huge hit last year, and I think it certainly brought in a lot of extra income from that. And like I said, merely coming up with an email, sending it to the principal and the vice principal, telling them who you are, what you are trying to accomplish, and I guarantee your email will not be disregarded. Okay?
Okay. So then, do I have a volunteer? I'm gonna have to find a way to make sure that we have one from each school. Do I have a volunteer? Do I have a volunteer to represent their school? Like, I'll volunteer for North if you're okay with that, unless you want to do it.
Ms. Griglin was asking for one
One person to do every school?
To coordinate all,
Oh, to coordinate.
to coordinate it all, just someone to coordinate it all, like she did last year.
Oh, to send every email?
Yes.
Correct.
Okay. Okay, so then,
Right.
does
So
someone want to
one person
volunteer?
volunteers, and that's your main job for the gala. You would like to,
Oh,
you would
to
like
gather all
to
the
use your
materials and then-
time to write that email to each principal and vice principal of each school in our surrounding area to see if they would be willing to donate a basket. And
Okay.
if you're unsure how to write it, just reach out to me. I bet I have last year's draft.
Okay. Okay, so then is there someone who would like to volunteer to write the email to the vice principals and principals of each school regarding that? Vice Chair Little?
I have a question. What is the raffle basket y'all are talking about?
Okay. Okay, so last year at our spring gala, we had like, there was a little back room and it had like artwork, but beside it, kind of, I'm trying to describe kind of the layout, but if I think of like Kennedy Center, but beside there was like this table and it was all cute and you had like the setup of the little baskets next to each other. And you just kind of think of like a fun raffle, and all of the families got together and you could sit at the tables and you could have like a little raffle and they pulled the names of the winners. And I don't know how else to describe the raffle, but it was like a little basket. It had like fun things from each school. So like you can think about like, it could have like a North, of course I think of North, but like a North cup, a North t-shirt, a North like Nike bag, a North, so when you think about it, like it had like merchandise from that school, and it was just fun. I mean, I guess it's not limited to like t-shirts and stuff like that, but it had just kind of North merch and things like that, or like your school's merch, I shouldn't just say North, but that kind of thing that was in it, that was all themed. And so when you won it, it was like from that school. I don't know if that's
I'd be willing to do it then. If I can get all the emails of all that kind of stuff and also the draft email that you had.
So do me a favor, please. Sometime this weekend, send me an email so that I remember it, and I'll go ahead and respond to you.
Gotcha.
So I have Vice Chair Little for the emails. And then I believe as far as decorations, I saw in the backup materials that there were ideas for decorations. If we want, we can discuss some proposed ideas for what we would like to do. Is there any way, Christian, that you could scroll again to the bottom of the backup materials and we could show them on the thing? Oh, do you want to? You want?
I like got a bunch of decorations from some of our city facilities, and I also like went to Pinterest and tried to look up some decoration ideas. How do you do this? I don't know. But I was just like focusing on kind of like Beauty and the Beast, Tale as Old as Time stuff. Oh, it's gonna take forever. It's not working when I do it. It's like not going down.
Yeah, I don't. That's cool.
Oh. Okay.
I know, we picked it up.
This is Lake Kennedy Center also. I try to like, before the hurricane, I went to Lake Kennedy Center and I took some pictures, but it kind of just looks like a small room. But it's pretty big. It's not that small, but I just took a couple pictures. But, and they're in the backup material. But I went to a couple places and, okay, stop here. So these are big string lights. I think we could like put them around like the walls or something. I thought they would be like really cute. They're really long and tall. I put like the measurements because I asked my mom. But we have about 5 of them at actually Lake Kennedy. So we could use them when we go there and just like string them around. They're really cute. And then I went to Four Freedoms, and they have these huge, like, horse and carriage cutouts, and they're like, they're kind of like old-time Beauty and the Beast, so I didn't know if, like, we wanted to stick it somewhere, like, that has, like, just white space, but I thought it was kind of, like, cool. It was kind of random, but also these columns, these are really cool. They're, like, this tall, and there's a couple small ones, and we can just, like, place them, like, around the tables and stuff. I think it's kind of cool. These columns, there's not 5, there's actually like 9 of them, but they're still at Four Freedoms. So, and then my mom, she has these jar lights, and they just have a bunch of like string lights in a jar, and I was thinking maybe we can put them on the table or just like around like maybe the raffle basket table or the catering table for 2 meatballs. We can put them there. But we also have other lights. They're candle lights. These ones. These like they actually look like candles, but they're not really candles. And you can like control them, so we can put them as like centerpieces. I'm just like giving you guys ideas. I don't know what you guys want to do, but we already have these decorations. They are at Lake Kennedy Center, and a bunch of these decorations are in those boxes that Miss Greglin, are you going to take those boxes? Yeah. So Miss Greglin will keep those decorations. And there's just a bunch of Beauty and the Beast stuff. We went to the youth center, and they also have a bunch of actual Beauty and the Beast decorations. So they just like fit the navy blue, the red, the gold that we were kind of looking for. So yeah. And then like one more picture I just want to show you guys real quick. Okay. I don't know about you guys, but I kind of want to do like an entrance thing like this, where it's like a drape in front of the front door, because there is at the Lake Kennedy Center, there is the front door where we walk in, and I have a picture of it. It's right here. So we could like do a drape down here, and I think it would just like look really cute when they come in. Yeah, and we can maybe use those string lights and just make it cute. And then I have one more picture, and it's right here. So I was thinking maybe, so Lake Kennedy, they said that they have a bunch of different colored tablecloths, and I reached out to them, and Jody said that she does have blue, so we can use that for our tables. And then we can like, I don't know if we want to find like any type of red. There are some red roses in the boxes that I have, but we can figure out what we want to do for centerpieces. And I kind of got that idea. And then this last picture, which is like random stuff. There's a clock in there too, so I don't know if we want to do like, because I know we said Tale as Old as Time, so we can maybe like find some clocks and stuff.
I love that. Thank you so much. I love that. I think that like the vibrancy of the colors will really bring something. And I think the candelabras is very true to like Tale as Old as Time with like Lumiere and the clock with Cogsworth. I think that's so cute. I think if we can stay true to that, I think there has to be some way where we can incorporate some of Cape Coral and like the timeliness of that. If we do like a collage or something of pictures of like old Cape Coral or something.
There are little frames in the box, and we can like print out pictures of like old Cape Coral and put them on there, and we can put them on the yeah. So I thought that was so cool when I saw the frames because I had the same exact idea to tie in our history. Like,
I think that's so perfect with the theme. I think that's amazing. I love that. Member Brooker, did you? Okay. Yes, Vice Chair Little.
I really like the drapes that were there, and I think I like them a little more than the balloons, but I still think the balloons would look cool somewhere. Yeah.
Point out my mom right now. she thought we should do the balloons because she knows how to make the balloon stuff. So I said I wanted to do the drapes, so.
Because I create that was at my event, but I can do whatever it is today.
Member Osinski.
Yeah, I really like all the decorations. I really like the colors. I think it's kind of a little more upscale than our theme last year, but still is really like fun. I kind of agree with Chair Bernal though that we need a little more like to relate Cape Coral back to our theme, especially with everything we've gone through. And I would really love to find a way to maybe do like even just like a little like infographic. I don't know if that's the right word for what I'm meaning, but like just so like when people walk in and they sit down in their seats, they kind of like read about like our theme and like they read about what we're doing, kind of like what we're trying to get out of this, and blessings in a backpack, what we're doing it for. So like when they sit down, they have like that little thing right there with them, and we could get just like a little more Cape Coral like pictures. And I think the picture frames are a really good idea, just like little subtle touches to add in, and I think that would look great.
Yeah. Yeah. But I definitely, is there something, I'm not sure about, I think, so for centerpieces, I love, I'm trying to think, the candelabras, I'm not sure what the pictures, are the ones that you showed us, I can't scroll, are the ones that you showed us, do you know if they're black or if they're, because the ones in the picture from Pinterest, they look gold, but we wouldn't be able to paint them.
Like a silver
There's
color.
like, yeah, the ones that we got from Lee Kennedy, they're silver, but I think there is a gold one in there. I don't remember. But yeah, I asked my mom if we could spray paint it, but I don't know if we can.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to like
Oh yeah.
paint something that we're not supposed to paint.
Advisor
We can-
Revelo says it's
A
fine.
visor. I asked her if we could spray paint it, so I don't know if we can.
But I love these ideas. I think that it would be wise to go back and find fabrics and things like that. Oh, yeah. As far as, I definitely would love to do the drape way with the lights that you found, because I think that that would really just add something special and just really make it nice. Yes, member Negro.
For the like solid objects that aren't the color we're looking for, we could always get like Baker's gold foil and like tape it there so it can be peeled off afterward.
That's smart. Cool. Yeah, definitely. But thank you so much for what you found, and I think that that will be really, really helpful in our thing. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, member Rivers.
Hi. So another idea I had for the pictures, I was thinking another option we could do, or we could do both. Get a projector. I could probably find one too. I think my friend has one. Get a projector and like put like a nice, like not like anything crazy, like a slideshow kind of, but like put like cool little effects into it. Maybe also like put effects that tie into the theme, like you know, like stars or something like that. But also like show pictures of Old Cape Coral, and also depending on where we want to put it, if we put it near the raffle baskets, we could also put like some kind of pictures with the schools as well. That's another idea.
Any kind of include that youth element? Yes, Vice Chair Little.
Do we want to make that less sort of like a timeline style, or like side by side themes of buildings? Like, would we want to do all the schools next to each other, or do we want to do like the years the schools were built as that?
So it'd be a slideshow, so we could just throw in pictures from, you know, whichever, all the schools, like, different ones, and we would put, like, a caption, you know, Cape Coral or North, under the picture on the slideshow.
But do we want them to be in order of chronologically?
It doesn't need to be in order, just like
Okay.
whatever looks best in the slideshow.
Okay.
I will just say really, really quickly, and then I'll get to you, Member Osinski, I'm sorry. For our prom last year, we did, it was like through the decades, it was 20s, and we had these big boxes, and we used a projector, and we projected it onto the screen, and I think it looked really nice, and it was cool. So if we wanted to do something like that, because we used like these cloth things, and it was white, and yeah, and then we projected it onto it. I could try to find a picture, because I'm not sure if I can really describe this to you as like a box, and we projected onto it, but if we wanted to do something like that, if that's kind of similar to what you're thinking.
That actually sounds really cool. I was thinking of a wall, but boxes sound a lot cooler.
Because it was like, if you kind of think like kids, like toddlers boxes, like
Yeah.
kind of stacked on top of each other like that, that's kind of what it looked like, but it was like cloth. And then on the middle, there was like a little cart, and it was projected into it.
I like that idea.
Yeah. And then, Member Osinski, did you have something you wanted to say?
Yeah, I like the presentation. The only thing I feel about the presentation is maybe not focus on the schools. And if we're doing like Tale as Old as Time, maybe go through like Cape Coral's history, because Cape Coral has a very long and interesting history that a lot of people don't know about. And I think it'd be very cool to focus on a lot of that, recent history, and kind of what we're doing in the future and stuff. So kind of just progressing from maybe like the start of Cape Coral to where we are now and in the future, rather than just focusing on the schools, which can be a little limiting.
I think that that's a good idea. I'd love to see like the story of Cape Coral, and that might stay more true to the theme, as you said. Yes, Member Brucker.
I do know that the Rosen brothers, the founders of the city, founded the city as a getaway for people who have a lot of money. They could move down here, and it's like a tropical getaway. They had a place called Cape Coral Gardens. It was where the yacht club was, and they have a whole bunch of pictures. It was like magical. Like, that was the ambiance it was supposed to be. They had these huge gardens. They had, like, I think it was mini golf. They had literally everything, like a playground for adults and everybody. And I think that would be really awesome to include in that.
Yes, Member Bella.
I really like all the presentation ideas, and I was looking at the pictures of the Lake Kennedy Center, and it looks like they have like a pull-down projector sheet.
Really?
It's
By like a curtain?
Yeah, if Christian can like show it, let's see.
It's on page 27.
Yeah, it's the second page of the Spring Gala Lake Kennedy sheet.
And
Just go down there.
also, I do have a projector that connects to like USB, like anything basically. So we could always use that.
Right there.
And
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
A little bit down. The next page. That one.
so
The
like,
top one. There, it's in the back, and it's the projector thing, and you pull it down.
Oh.
and so I thought that would be cool to have that showing. And also I kind of wanted to reiterate Osinski's infographic idea. If we could like have it on the, like kind of near the silverware and stuff for everyone to look at, I feel like that would be really cool to have people read that and then see the projector and see all the decorations. I think it would tie it together really nice.
I agree. Yes, Member Arvelo.
I think we should like have someone draft up like a
slideshow?
Yeah,
I think
a
I agree.
slideshow and the infographic for
infographic.
like sheets, and we can have it around the tables.
At this time, can I have a volunteer to work on that? Member Negron? Would you prefer to do the infographic or the slideshow?
I'd prefer to do the slideshow.
Okay.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
slideshow exists. The Cape Coral Chamber has it that they showed every leadership class.
Okay.
From the beginning till right up to date, and you can put it on auto run and just run it. Your job would be very easy.
All right, and then can I have,
And it's from the Rosens. It shows the original yacht club. It shows the Rose Gardens, which are down where the Westin is now. So yeah, and it's got all of that stuff, plus some pretty cool pictures when we used to land planes on 47 Terrace, all those things are all in it, and it's sequential, so it would just, you just put it on auto run, and if you do a timeline associated with that, and especially if you have the pictures and try to identify some of those pictures in a time, you may get a couple of folks who have been here a while to tell you what time was going on when, so. I work with the Historical Society, they could also be very good with that, but that DVD exists. It's on a thumb drive, it's like, yeah, it's any kind of way you want to use it.
So if you want to look into that,
I can do that, and I can do the infographic if, you know.
if it already exists.
Yeah.
Okay, if it's already done.
Yeah.
So then we can look into that, and then, so I'll put you down for the infographic then. Yes, Member Osinski?
One final idea I had, and it's just like a small idea, but I thought it would be cute, is there's like that song from Beauty and the Beast where it's like, be our guest. And I thought it'd be really cute if we had like a little guest book. And so when people like came into the gala, they could like sign their name. We could like ask them to like write down their favorite memory from like living in Cape Coral. That like at the end of the gala, we have a whole like commemoration of like all our guests, like who came, what they enjoy about our city. And it's a whole little guest book full of the people from our gala.
That's super cute. Do you have an idea of what you would like it to look like? Like, would it look kind of like a scrapbook, like bound?
They make like a ton of options on like Amazon that are like pretty affordable, and like that would probably definitely come in time. So I could like go in and like look at Amazon and like bring a couple examples of ones we could just order offline, and then we could vote on one in the next meeting.
Can you be sure to send Miss Griglin some copies? Maybe if you like, if it's visually, like, can you send her maybe like? a
Yeah,
link
I can
and,
take like screenshots and
Yeah.
I can just send them to her, and then we can vote on it, and I can just order it.
Well, that way, just so that we can have it in the backup material, so we
Yeah,
can see it.
yeah.
And make sure that's just a few days before the meeting, or more than a few days before the meeting, so that it's.
Yeah, it's got to be the
yeah.
Friday before the meeting. Always the Friday before the meeting.
Vice Chair.
So sometimes I've gone to parties and what they have is like these big boards where you sign your name and then they'll like post a picture of the board. So maybe with these memories we could post a picture to our social media and be like, oh hey, look at this.
That'd be so much fun.
Yeah.
I'm so excited to like develop our social media account. I think that it's going to be really good because I know we like just kind of established it, but yes, Member Anchetta.
I feel something beneficial for us would be having a layout of where each table would go and how the room looks, like a bird's eye view. Someone, I guess, should go there or email to see if they have a layout already done. But I think it'd be better to visualize where everything would go, and it'd be easier to decorate each section.
I know, Member Aravelo, I know that you probably know it better than anyone. I know that you're working on getting us there in February, but
I will write down a reminder to ask Jody if we can actually get like a, what would I call it? Like
So
a
they
walkthrough?
don't have a layout. They're not going to give you a layout. They're going to ask you how many tables you're going to need, and they're going to give you those tables. You can't even say how many tables you need because you haven't sold any tickets yet. So until we get to that point, then we'll decide what the layout looks like, and it's basic layout. You're just going to put round tables in a ballroom. However you want to stagger them is however we'll do them that day. But they don't have a standard layout that they're going to do for you.
okay. I know that we can probably make a layout for us, but as far as before we all can get there, I know that might be difficult. Is there any way, I know that based on like the pictures and from my memory, I could try to do something, but would you mind trying to do something? I don't want to like volunteer you for something, but you know it better than anyone, I would think. Thank you so much. Just like if you have your like from your general idea or knowledge of what you think would be best for where everything would be, and we can work on that for our next meeting. Yes, Vice Chair Little.
As members of the youth council, do we need to buy tickets too, or?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
I already bought my ticket, so we do have one ticket sold. So yeah, I used the link, and I advertised it at our last SGA meeting, which was yesterday. So we should hopefully have some SGA kiddos buying them. So we are. Christian, yes.
I also posted it on the Yacht Club Facebook page because people still follow us even though we're closed. So I did post the whole thing and had it multiply shared several times.
Well, the key thing is, once a week, we are going to continue to keep posting it on all of our social media pages. I will get with our main communications department, and it will constantly, hopefully, be running several times on our city government pages. One of the key things, and Chair, I'm going to put you out on a limb, because you, typically, the chair is the one who writes it. Have you been able to draft that letter? Because remember, we have not invited city council, we have not invited any of the directors, and we have not invited Miss Arnold Cecilia, who's the main person of Blessings in a Backpack. Once again, until we get those invites out, they don't get them on their calendars, events start being booked up. So it's important. I mean, those are key players in the city that, you know, will purchase tables, but you need to invite them.
Okay. Okay. Is there any other discussion on this? I feel like we've had positive things. I know we're gonna go back into the, go back and have a better idea, I feel, of what we want to do. Yes, please, Shirley.
Should we schedule another meeting just to make sure everything works out? Because I don't like the idea of having only one more meeting. Technically, we have two, but it would be like a few days beforehand, and I don't feel like that's enough to decide
I think you can establish a subcommittee to do the actual work, and you're not gonna bring it, it's not gonna be something that would be brought back to the full board to be voted on. You can talk about it, you know, you've already talked about some concepts, you have a layout, you have a theme, the actual implications of that, or applications of that rather, are on the, at the site, or that's not something you're gonna be voting on as a board, so you can talk about it, do it. 4 or 5 of you get together and make that happen.
Can we
You don't
get
need
together
all
with
of you.
sunshine laws?
What?
Can we get together with sunshine laws?
Yeah, as long as you're discussing stuff
Just
that's
that.
not going to
Just
come
that.
back for a vote.
Don't discuss
You're
anything else.
discussing and working on decorating the facility. First, how you're gonna decorate it within the guidelines that you've already established as a board, and then the actual applying those to the facility.
So at this time, are there any volunteers who would like to be on that subcommittee for decorating the Member Arvelo? Or wait, let me go down the line. So, or in order. All right. So Member Anchetta, Member Arvelo, Member Bella, Vice Chair Little, Member Ordonez, Member Reamer.
And you members could email together about scheduling a time to meet there, work with the Lake Kennedy supervisor to figure out a time when you can do it, and then just go there and do your thing,
Okay.
okay?
Okay.
I would
So I
say
can do-
one planning, you would need 2 meetings. One planning meeting on site, so you get a real feel for the building that you're gonna deal with, and then a meeting and then a second follow-up as to when you're actually gonna decorate.
Okay. So, Madam City Clerk.
Just to make sure I have it clear for the record, Inchetta, Arvalo, Bella, Little, Ordonez, and Reamer. Is there anybody that was missing from there? Raise your hand, please. Okay, thank you.
And excuse me, Chair, just to interject in that, we do our own decorating, we do our own cleanup. So with that being said, please block out the day, March 11th, to come sometime, you know, usually we're there sometimes 3-4 hours, depending on how you guys want to decorate before the gala, getting yourself home to get dressed for the gala, and then staying afterwards to help me clean up for the gala. So I'm going to need, you know, volunteers for that. So it's just something to keep in mind to please, please, please keep that day wide open. Thank you.
And just, when the committee starts thinking about decorating, you have to clean it up afterwards. So like, no confetti, make it easy on yourselves, use your heads, make it reasonable, easy to clean up when it's all said and done. So.
All right. Is there any other discussion? Yes. Member Rooker.
Are we gonna hang ivy and stuff from the ceilings again? Because I remember that being like a really big.
I'm not sure
a
if
really
Ivy
big
would
mishap.
fit with me. I'm not sure what the decorations committee is planning, but I don't think that that is.
That took up, that was a, yeah.
I know that that was really difficult.
Yes. That took a long time.
I think we can sway away from the ivy this year. Yeah, I agree. Is there any other discussion? All right. Next, we have item 10C, senior project continued discussion. So as discussed at recent meetings, council members discussed that our past contact at the Art Center stepped down due to personal reasons, and in the future, we will have to contact Sam, the senior recreation specialist. I will now open the floor to member discussion. So is there any member discussion on this? Yes, Member Osinski.
I feel like right now we're kind of at a roadblock because a lot of schools with like their, at least from my experience, are still kind of like recovering, like they're not fully back yet. I know they're working on some things, but it's not to a point where I feel like they could manage another music schedule for the art center. And so with a new contact, I feel like we might want to reassess if music is the best way to go, because I really want to get something done. I want to feel like we did really make a difference with the art center, and I don't think scheduling and managing the music schedule with high schoolers, it may be a good like side thing that we do for them, but I don't feel like it's something that is our main focus should be. Like even if we like go and we help clean up the art center and do something on a practical level like that, I feel like we could make a real difference rather than just trying to manage a schedule, which is really hard with the position we're in right now.
Definitely. Is there any other comment or discussion on that? Anyone else? Definitely. I know that this has been difficult, and every time we seem to like have an idea of what we want to do, something happens, or there's a hurricane, or so, you know, we'll have to keep trying to communicate with that. So, is there someone who wants to try to communicate with Sam or contact Sam, the new specialist? I can reach out and draft an email to Sam and, let me write an email. A note to myself, email Sam, and reach out just to say, you know, we'd like to, you know, reestablish what we're doing, and still make a difference before we all graduate, because we still, you know, want to make a difference. I know we're all kind of like, there is a little bit of a shock. One of my friends said, you know, we only have a little bit left here, and that was kind of crazy to think about, that we're going to graduate soon, but it's real. So we definitely want to still make a difference and do something in our project. So we can work on that and hopefully come back next meeting with kind of some ideas. So I'll email Sam, maybe get a couple ideas for a prospect date for a meeting outside of this, you know, this council meeting, and we can vote on it. Or I don't know is that something I can I talk to Sam about prospective dates if we are voting on a date?
Prospective dates?
Yes. A meeting for the Cape Coral Arts Center. I mean, it has to be something that I can talk about, right?
You established the dates, so I don't think you'd be voting on approving a date for a meeting.
No, so if I'm asking our contact which dates she's available for, and we vote on which, that's a silly question, never mind. And we vote on which dates, I just asked myself, but it was, never mind. It's okay, thank you. It just took a second. I was clocking. It seemed, for a second there, I was like, oh wait, we're going to be voting on that. But so I can go back and ask her about her availability, find a time, and then I'll come back to the council with some dates, and hopefully we'll vote on that and we'll find something for us to talk about. And we'll find a solution for that. Is there any other discussion on the senior project? Seeing none, we'll move on. All right, next is item 10D, junior project continued discussion. At the previous meeting, the council discussed Supervisor Creed's approval of the project, and Member Arvelo agreed to reach out to the Parks and Recreation Department regarding curbing of the garden. Member Arvelo, have you received a response regarding this?
Yes, I have some pictures. So I'm gonna go. So I went to Lake Saratoga Park, and I talked to, last time, for anyone who wasn't here, so Superintendent Creed, he has stepped down who oversees Parks and Rec, and they oversee all the parks in Cape Coral. And he was the one that I was talking to about the garden project, and he had mentioned I mentioned Lake Saratoga Park to put our garden in, and he approved it, and he put me with a Supervisor Munez, and I've been in contact with him, and he approved of us of having Lake Saratoga Park as a location for our garden. And I actually met with him at the park, and we picked the place in the actual park where we will put the garden. And there's 2 walking paths in this park. It's kind of a bigger park than your normal park, and the smaller walking path is where I decided to have it. It's actually near a memorial for someone. The memorial has a bench, and I thought it would be a really good idea to have the Kindness Rock Garden next to a memorial, because I feel like if someone's there, they can paint while they're just sitting and thinking of their loved one. So it's actually this part right here. It's kind of like, there's like a sandy part, but it's gonna be here, and the people can walk around. There's a lot of children here because there's a really, really big playground at this park. So I think that it's also in a neighborhood. It's like right in the center of a neighborhood, and I feel like that can really help us get children to come to the park and paint there and put the rocks in the garden. So we picked it was really easy to actually pick a part in the park, and then we started talking about how we will actually create. This is where we gotta really move the project, because how are we gonna create the project in the garden? And that's what we talked about, me and Mr. Munez, and we talked about the actual border of the garden. I have some pictures. So this is curbing. I didn't really know what curbing was, but Superintendent Creed showed us in JC Park. They did this bordering curbing, and it's really sleek, and it's made of cement. And I brought up to Mr. Munez if we could do this, because if we do it in a heart, I would think it would be really nice and sleek. But he said it would actually be kind of hard to do it for the contract companies to do the curbing. He said it might come out like a little wonky, and we don't know if we want to do that. But he said there is hope. So he is actually going to go out to different curbing companies and ask for quotes for it. So to see if we can do a heart, and if not, he's also going to get quotes of doing a square rock garden. So he's going to reach out to them, and that was just like about 2 weeks ago, so it was taking a little time. Yes.
If they were asking, the city just bought a curbing machine.
Mm-hmm. Ask him that.
Ask them if that can be used.
That can be used? Okay. Well,
I don't know that it can, it's mainly going to be used for medians, but
Mm-hmm. I can ask him, because with the curbing, it'll be, he said like, I don't remember if he said the lowest is 5,000 or the highest is 5,000, but he did say that if it was 5,000, we could start doing it, and it'd be really good. But the main point is if the curbing actually looks good with the heart. That's the only issue he has with it, because it is kind of a weirder shape. But he did say if we can't do the curbing, he really likes the paver idea, which is these like big rocks, and just putting them as the border in the heart, because it's just easier to make that shape. So, and we can buy these from like Home Depot. So I do want us to start going out. Like if we could have we can have a member to go out to Home Depot and ask about the pavers. We're not going to buy them yet, obviously, because we don't know if we're going to do the curbing or the pavers or not. But if we could get a quote of what we could do, because the garden is 10 by 10. So you can ask, if we can get pavers enough for a 10 by 10 garden in a square shape or a heart shape, that would be nice. And then we also need to figure out how we're going to get rocks to actually be painted into the garden. So if we want to do a donated rocks to be in the garden, or if we're going to have to pay for them. So if we could have someone, I can probably do that, to go out and ask about donations for rocks. So those are kind of the 2 things I wanted to talk about today.
thank you. All right, so, so be sure to keep an eye out for those things if you visit Home Depot or if you want to take a trip to those things, and we'll see what we hear back from our contacts in the Parks and Recreation Department about those kinds of things. Is there any other discussion on this? Yes, Member or Vice Chair Little.
I think for this kind of thing, we should definitely assign someone at least, because I know you're saying like if we go by, but I've never gone by a Home Depot really. I've been like, ooh, rocks.
All right, is
So-
there a volunteer that wants to, so Member Arvelo, you said that you were going to look for donations for rocks?
Yes, I'll do
Okay.
the donation.
Is there someone who would like to volunteer to find the quotes for the square or the heart for the 10 by 10 garden? Member Bella, is that your hand raised? Okay. All right, thank you. Now, is there any other discussion? Awesome. Thank you. Next, we have item 10E, Lovelocks Project Continued Discussion. Simply to review, we have selected Cultural Park as the location. Additionally, Advisor Mazurkowitz offered to provide the location for the project to the engineer to set up a site plan and acquire documentation. Most prominently, the council agreed last meeting that the fundraising was the most substantial hurdle to overcome in this process. And since our last meeting, we have obtained a GoFundMe account, and council members received an email including the link to the account. Thank you, Communications Director Garcia, for putting it all on our social media and everything. I was so excited when I saw it on the Instagram, like I reposted so quickly. So please use this link to share with others, and we have this opportunity to fundraise for a project, so this is really important. And Communications Director Garcia was requested to create a draft informational brochure and an Instagram post to be printed and posted when the account is established to advertise, and I saw that in our backup materials. So Christian, do you mind scrolling again? Thank you. So at this time, we can review our brochure. Where's my brochure? It's going to be up there. So if you guys remember, we asked Communications Director Garcia to put this together because we had one a little while ago. I mean, I thought it looked nice. It was great. I love this because I love seeing our faces on it. I think it's cute. I think it does its job perfectly, but I love seeing like our project on it. The Lovelocks project is great to see because it's something that we're in progress of working on, that kind of thing. And I don't know, I think that it's just really cool to update this kind of thing and just keep it going because we're always in progress. Oh yes, Member Rosinski.
I love the brochure. I think it looks great. Just a small thing. It says meetings are held every second and fourth Friday of the month.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that would have to be changed. But other than that, I think it looks good.
Because we now updated it to meet once a month. So is there any way that you could change it?
Is this on? So basically, I had changed it, but Ms. Griglin said you guys still had to vote on it or something like that, and I couldn't change it until it was voted on.
Oh, so we, in the motion to amend it? Is that what you're saying?
I'm not quite sure. I had done the change.
Well,
You told
when
me to
you
refer-
had originally sent it to me, it was before the December meeting that they hadn't voted on it. They voted on it at the December meeting, so while they're looking at everything else, if they want any other changes, this is the time to tell you all of the changes.
Okay.
And obviously, since they voted on the new meetings, that should be one of the changes that you guys would recommend.
Okay.
So today, after today, I can change it, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Right. Final copy is always after they review it and make any changes asking you to do that.
I can write a note on here for just the once a month. Are there any other, like, little details?
Chair,
you guys remember, Reamer? Oh,
This is an item later on under reports. Do we want to
oh,
do
should
that?
I wait? Okay. Yes, we can wait. Thank you.
That's okay.
This. Okay, then, my bad. Thank you, Communications Director Garcia, sorry. So I will skip to that and we'll talk about that later. Member Arvelo, at the last meeting, you presented grants, scholarships, and other funding resources. At this time, do you have any updates for the council? Last meeting, Member Arvelo inquired about a tax ID to provide on applications. And do we have any other updates on the obtaining of a tax ID?
That wasn't me, that was Advisor Hayden was supposed to figure out about a tax ID for us. And I also did send a copy to Reamer about the grant, so that's my update.
We have a tax ID. So if you need that information, you can just email me.
Leave my cell phone there.
I have it, it's okay. We've got it if you need to apply.
All right, so.
Yes, and everyone is seeing about paychecks. Oh, it's on.
So moving forward, we can look into the scholarships and grants that require tax ID and potentially apply for them to try to get funding for our projects. And then, yes, Member Reamer.
So with the grant information that Member Aravalo gave me, I already applied to the Austin Foundation because it's very straightforward, and the Bridgestone Americans Foundation as well, and Barnes & Noble. The only thing I ran into was the tax ID, so if Member Hayden could send that, or Council
We'll get
Member Hayden.
Griglin to send it.
Oh, if Ms. Riggin could send the tax ID to me so I could apply to the other ones, because that's the only boundary I've run into.
Yeah, just please remember to email me.
Okay, I'll remember to email you.
Anytime you guys need information, just shoot me an email. I can respond back with the information or at least research it for you.
Thank you. All right. All members are reminded of the importance of scrap metal donations as well as monetary contributions to the success of this project. Please be on the lookout for any opportunities to obtain needed resources. Any additional discussion? All right. Moving on, we have item 10F, future presenters, continued discussion. At previous meetings, the Youth Council has discussed plans for inviting representatives from the community and Youth Council alumni to visit council meetings to speak. At the last meeting, council members decided to attempt to reach known alumni and provide them with administrative contact Griglin's information to have the opportunity to attend the meetings virtually through Zoom or on Google Teams, in person, or by sending in a video. Were any members successful in contacting Youth Council alumni or interested parties? All right, so due to the loss of communication, would the council be in favor of visiting this concept at a later date if the opportunity presents itself for a connection with alumni? We can talk about it later. Okay, so we'll continue this conversation at next meeting. Next, we have item 10G, special populations continued discussion. Previously, the council has discussed our past involvement with special populations. Members confirmed their continued interest in supporting this organization, request an updated schedule of upcoming events so that we can vote on a date to attend as a council. At this time, do we have an updated schedule to review? Do we happen to have any updated dates? I'm not sure if they released an updated schedule of anything coming up that we could attend.
I will reach out to Ms. Park. She's usually really good about it, but she may have just forgotten. So I will make a note to email her.
Okay, thank you. So we can continue that discussion next meeting and maybe have a vote on dates that we would like to attend. All right. Next, we have item 10H, strategic plan continued discussion. So to review, the council has discussed the setting of a date for the writing of our mission statement to give council members the opportunity to deliberate on the topic more in depth. It has also been suggested that council discuss the concept further during our meetings to secure a stronger understanding of our goals prior to planning. All council members were requested to submit a SWOT analysis to Administrative Contact Griglin by January 6th to be provided in backup materials. At this time, I will open the floor to discussion on our strengths and weaknesses. So I'm not sure that I saw it in the backup materials, but we can just have time to discuss
No,
it.
it wasn't the backup
It's in the
material.
backup
Yes,
material?
it was. Yep.
Silly me, okay.
There's an Excel spreadsheet. That's all that responded to me.
You all required to respond to this, okay? This isn't unique to this. Okay?
Okay.
See, that was a T.
Okay. So, of course, all members were, yes, Member Avila.
I guess it slipped my mind, but I do have my copy here. I don't know if you guys want to take it, or I can just send it to Ms. Griglin.
Yes, if you could
tomorrow.
please email it, because,
Yeah.
right,
I just-
we keep everything in one spreadsheet, so if you
Okay,
could please
yeah.
email it, that would be so
I
much
have it
easier.
filled out.
How exactly do we respond to the strategic plan?
So you may, now that I think about it, you may not have been here when Mr. Mazurkowitz had given out that,
Yeah, the brief on it. We have it, you have both an, I can send you both a brief
So,
outline
yes.
and the blank SWOT analysis.
yes. So,
You need to send him that.
just do me a favor, send me an email, just subject line, send you the SWOT information, and then what I'll do is I will, I'll remind you what meeting it was at, so that at least you can go back and listen what the discussion was, because it was before you were a member.
Yeah.
And then at least I can give you the other SWOT analysis that they were using to answer the questions. Okay?
All right.
Thank you. We apologize, we forget sometimes that, you weren't here, so.
Quite all right.
So at this time, I can open the floor to discussion about the SWOT. Even if you didn't submit, I would love to hear what you think are some strengths, weaknesses, and opportunities and threats for us. So I think that this is a good opportunity for us to just kind of assess what we can kind of focus on as a group. So is there anyone who would like to kind of discuss what they either submitted or think of? Yes, Vice Chair Little?
When we don't get assigned things, I'd say 90% of the council doesn't do them, and I am included in that 90%. So that is a weakness for sure.
Madam Chair, I think at this point, because we're bumping up against the 4:30,
Okay.
I think we can,
Maybe.
a very excellent comment, by the way, for a weakness, and it would be a big threat if it continued on. So take that to heart and fill out those documents before the next meeting, and we can actually start taking them and preparing for your strategic initiative, your mission statement, vision statement, and strategic initiatives. And we can move on to the last item.
All right, so we'll continue discussion next meeting. Next on the agenda is item 11, next meeting agenda topics. Members, are there any other topics to consider? Currently, I have business items 10A, which is FLC Youth Council, or 10A through 10H, and then the addition of the school violence continued discussion. Are there any others? Yeah, Vice, or Member Osinski.
Microphone's not on, sorry. I think item 10A might not be all that necessary right now, since we don't have a date when our results are going to be released. So there's not real much progress that can be made on that topic. I don't think it should be included in the next agenda.
Sounds good. All right. Yes, Vice Chair Little?
I also think we should include item 9A. Last time we talked about our experiences presenting it, so maybe we could also do that again.
Let me go back and check so I can write it down.
Yeah, 9A is the quarterly report. In case
Quarterly
you were,
report.
yeah,
Thank you, that's easier. So I
since
don't
we would
have
have presented it by then.
So I'll just add it as 10. All right. So then can I have a motion to add, Ms. Dixon, would I add the quarterly report as 9A because it's listed in the agenda as 9A, or would it be 10I? It would be 9A, okay. So can I have a motion to add items 9A through 10H, or 10I, including the school violence continued discussion, to the agenda for next meeting? Member Negron?
Madam Chair,
Yeah.
the motion you're asking for, you still want 9A to be at 9A?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I just want to make sure.
So it's,
Then you're going to have, not A,
B through I, yes,
Yeah.
So that's the motion you're asking for?
yes. Items 10B through 10I, including the school violence continued discussion. Correct? Member Negron.
I motion to add items 9A through and 10B through 10AI to the agenda for next meeting.
Do we have a second? Vice Chair Little?
I second that motion.
All right. Member Negron made the motion, Vice Chair Little made the second to add business items 9A through 10B through 10I to the next meeting agenda. All in favor? Aye. Oh, yes.
No, that's perfect. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Any opposed? All right, motion carried.
I just wanted to clarify the 10I,
Oh,
the title.
the
have it
school
correct.
violence continued discussion.
Okay, thank you.
Is the motion maker okay with that? Yes, that's okay. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to item 12, reports. 12A, Youth Council brochure, continued discussion. Okay, this is where we were. So, Communications Director Garcia, thank you for creating this brochure. Were there any other concerns with the brochure other than the dates being the once a month? Yes, Member Reamer?
Maybe just adding the GoFundMe page, the Lovelock section.
Okay, do you mind adding that? And then, can I have, is there any other recommendations, Member Anchetta?
Should we put our Instagram handle on there?
Yeah, I see the Facebook, the Twitter, the email, and the website, maybe the Instagram. Okay, so the GoFundMe, the once a month, and the Insta. Are there any other topics for that? All right, so can I have a motion to adopt this brochure
As amended.
as amended with the GoFundMe once a month and the Insta? Member Osinski.
I motion to approve the brochure as presented with the amended changes of the dates, the Instagram handle, and the GoFundMe.
Do we have a second? Vice Chair Little.
I second that motion.
All right, so Member Osinski made the motion, Vice Chair Little made the second to adopt the amended brochure. We will now take a voice poll vote. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you, motion carries. All right. Next is item 13, reports of the council liaison advisors. Are there any reports from the council liaison advisors or staff?
For your seniors, really quick, the deadline, if you haven't applied for them, the Cape Coral Mayor Scholarship, they're 10 $4,000 scholarships are going to be awarded. That deadline is coming up in about a week. So if you haven't applied for that, go ahead and do it, CapeCoralMayorScholarship.com, and there's a button at the end of the homepage.
I have a question about that because I was applying for it. And the email I got from my guidance counselor said it was due January 11th. And then the Kaleidoscope portal said it was due January 20th. And then an email I got following up from Kaleidoscope said it was due January 15th.
No, it's due. I just talked to the chair of that committee. I happen to know her pretty well. She's my wife. So she said it's next week. It's next week.
Okay. Thank you.
I also have a question about that. I was submitting it, and when it said that there are a few things that you have to submit, like you have to submit your FAFSA, you have to submit like a letter of recommendation, you have to submit, and it wouldn't let me submit anything.
All right. I'll find out about that.
Okay.
Okay.
I just want to make sure because it won't let me
Yep.
submit the application as a whole.
They had that problem with that last year.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Moving on, we have time and place of future meetings. The next regular meeting of the Cape Coral Youth Council is scheduled for Friday, February 10th, 2023 at 3 p.m. in council chambers. Do I have a motion to adjourn? Vice Chair Little.
I motion to adjourn.
Is there a second? Member Feichthaler.
I second that motion.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? This meeting is now adjourned.